everything I do in my sessions, whether it's with you guys, the parents, the teachers, or the children, is whatever sort of modality I use, whether it's the dancing, whether it's the breathing. I all I really want, what I really want, is to come to my bowls, because it's the bowls that really help soothe the nervous system. But we can't just kind of get here, really. We need everything else to help bring us to this point. And I'm hoping that we can look at this book in particular. I don't know if you've heard of it. So it's called Reframe Your Thinking Around Autism, by a lady called Holly Bridges. And obviously not all the children have autism, but I came to this book through an Asperger's website, and I came through to my teaching. Excuse me while I stand up. Watch my entire bookcase fall down. And I came to this book here, through this book, and this is called The Polyvagal Theory in Therapy, by a lady called Deb Dana. And I've trained with her. She's an American lady, and she took a theory called the Polyvagal Theory by a guy called Stephen Porges. So he's done the foreword in this book, and she's the one who translated it into a therapeutic setting. Basically, what this theory says is that all our behaviours, whether it's us as adults, whether it's that of our children, all come down from a biological response to do with our nervous system. And so what I would like to focus on is understanding our nervous system and what behaviours look like when we're in different parts of it, and then ways that we can manage it, because we keep talking about emotional regulation, we're regulate our emotions, which is great and it's all true, but why? What happens to us? What is going on for us? So the idea around the polyvagal theory is, if you're okay for me just to talk for a few minutes, and please, if I'm not making sense.
No, it's nice. I'm just sitting here relaxing.
Oh, do you know what, Ali? Do you know what we're going to do first of all? Before I start waffling on, let us bring ourselves into the moment. Let us, because this is the thing about engagement with learning and the attachment theory and all that stuff, is we need to be in a relaxed state first. So that's, you've well reminded, Ali. Let's do some stretching. So stretching is a wonderful way of stretching out our vagus nerve, which runs up our body. So a really quick way is we can interlace our fingers like this with our elbows out, and we're going to take a breath in through the nose, and we're going to lift our chin up as we raise our arms up above our head. We're literally just stretching, so your elbows end up being by your ears. And then we're going to breathe out, holding the pose. Breathe in. We're going to stretch to the side, so you'll feel the stretch down one side of your body. As you're breathing out, come back to centre. Still stretching. Breathe in and breathe out as you're stretching the other side. Back to centre. And then release the arms. And just maybe give your shoulders a bit of a waggle.
Oh, yeah. A bit of clicking going on here.
So, thank you, Ali. Stretching, number one way of resetting our nervous system. Sighing. Sighing helps us reset as well. So if you're, that's not a bad thing. Actually, I'm always sighing to the point where I sigh really loudly in the corridors of the school. And everyone's like, oh, all right. That is just me transitioning. Because this is the thing, we have children, myself included, and for ourselves, we need to go from bed to the kitchen. We need to go from the home to the car to the school. Once we're in the school, we have to go from classroom to classroom, and every time we have to we have to transition. And what happens is our nervous system starts going, danger, danger. And what the polyvagal theory talks about is our behaviours are literally just sending signals to us about points of safety and points of danger. So if we can learn to come to a place of calm before we try and do the transition, and that means us as the primary carer as well, and the teacher. This is why I like doing parents, teachers and children, because it's not just, well, we've got to manage the behaviour of the children, and this is very important because blah blah blah. Actually, this is all of us. If we can come to that place first, then using the language of the polyvagal theory, we can help our children co-regulate. Because we all know when something's happening and we respond irritably or with a little bit of tension in our voice, or even really annoyed, if we've already got to that point, like that's just like it's not our intention, but that's kind of what happens. So if we start looking at it from a nervous system response, the nervous system, I keep putting my hand on my heart. So if you were a yogi, you would say, we're in our heart space. But from a biological perspective, it's called ventral. When we're in ventral, we are calm. We are able to engage with those around us. We can hear, we can see, because we're open. When we are in dorsal, it means that we are very low. We're feeling helpless. Nothing's going to get better. I'm stuck in this place. I'm never going to get out. And then when we go into our fight or flight, into the sympathetic nervous system, which I think is pretty much where a lot of us come from a lot of the time, we're ding, 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 ding. We are danger, danger. I've got to be super alert, super watchful, and you're not really taking things in. You're not really connecting with people around you. You're just in your own kind of danger zone. So what we're learning to do is go from different states, coming back to this state. And the idea behind our vagus nerve is we go from all these different states a lot of the times of the day. So you could be having to drive to the school, and you've got to get child into the car, so you've already kind of gone up there a bit because you're feeling stressed because you've got to get to work. Then you hit a traffic jam, then somebody cuts you up, and you got the other end. So you've gone from, you started your morning, you were like, okay, this morning I'm going to be a calm, I'm going to do this is who I am as a person, this is who I want to be. And then within 5 minutes, you're like, okay, we're here. So this is about every opportunity we have, we've gone there, and that's okay, but we can come back here. And the more that we can come back here, the more that we can help co-regulate those around us, whether that is children, partners, colleagues. And sometimes it does feel like you're the only one doing all the work, coming back into your heart. Says, I'm having to co-regulate myself. Who's co-regulating me? But the thing is, it works. It works, and it's practice. And it's about practicing these things when we're not in that space. It's about taking these little moments, rather than making like a big thing that once a week I'm going to do my sound bath, which is lovely. It's like doing a sound bath once a week, and then throughout the day having 3 minutes of 3 periods, just something that you notice. Okay, I've gone up to there, I need to come down to here. Okay. Okay, now I can continue. And that's, you know, I'm sure you've heard of it before, the idea of like a Coke bottle, fizzy bottle, you're shaking it, it's all filled up with gas, and we're just letting the cap off the bottle, just releasing a little bit of the pressure, and then coming back into our space. So that is what I'd like to teach, a little bit of the biology, because I'm a bit of a nerd. Do like to read my books. I'm like kind of why do I need to do this? What's the purpose? What's it doing to my body? And then not getting stuck in the theory, then putting it into practice. So it's like, what happens when I get stressed? What hormones are happening? What part of my body is happening here? Because it's, even if we know it for ourselves, that when we see our child having a meltdown, it's like, okay, well, what danger signs did I miss? What points of safety can I perhaps put into place for you before we do that again? And how can I best help you in that moment? Well, the first thing is looking after myself first, and not going straight into that, you know, situation and that energy, because you can't help when you're in the same energy as the person that's doing it. It's having just enough space, you know. It's like, you know, if I was to do my parenting again, I would wear earplugs from the start, because the noise makes my nervous system just jangle. I think if I knew this, it's just giving that bit of distance, you know. You're just creating a bit of distance for yourself where you can support whoever you need to support. But first of all, it's us. So, any questions? Gazing eagerly at the screen. Okay, so I'm thinking we've got 15 minutes. I wanted to do a little bit of sound work with you. I didn't know if you wanted to make yourself a bit more comfortable, or you're happy where you are. I'm going to turn my screen off just for a couple of minutes, because I'm going to change from my desk to putting it on my chair, because I'm going to sit on the floor and it gets a bit wobbly. So if you haven't got any questions, I'll be back in. Don't go anywhere. I'm literally just turning my video off. I'll be back in 2 minutes. So these bowls here, some of you have seen them before. These are the Himalayan bowls. So the idea behind the bowls is that they're very rich in harmonics, and this means that they're really good for our children, really good for us as well, because when people say, you know, we need to meditate, I must meditate, I'm feeling stressed, I need to meditate. And then what happens is you sit down and your brain is just dun 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 dun, and you're like, I can't be here. Get me off of this meditation stool, whatever. So this bowl here is like the easiest, quickest way for your brain waves to synchronize and to just start to calm. And when we do that, that means our nervous system is going to start calming as well. So next term, we're going to use things like the stretching, like we did before, breath, just different exercises that do different parts of the body, changes the hormones in the body. So not only does it calm the body, but we can learn exercises that will help increase our dopamine, for example, and our serotonin. So actually we're just starting to balance things out naturally. But the bowls are my, you know, secret ingredient for all of this. Let me know if you can't hear it. Is that coming through okay? Great. So what I'm going to do, you can turn your screens off now if you like, or you can keep them on, it's up to you. We've got a few minutes. We're just going to close our eyes. And in fact, let's do a little breathing exercise just to kind of get you into it. And then you can keep your eyes closed and I'll play the bowl for you. And we're just going to start to consciously reset our nervous system, because it's not, we're not labeling any of our emotions bad or wrong, or any of our behaviours bad or wrong. They are just what they are. But actually, some are more beneficial to us than others. And the more we know how to consciously come back to this place, the more in control we are, the more we can respond rather than react to things. So we want to be sitting up, whether that is in a chair or on the floor. And the reason for this is we are becoming calm but alert. I have tried meditating lying down. It's great for falling asleep, not so good for consciously meditating. But if you're tired and you fall asleep, that's kind of good too. So we're sitting up and we're going to see if we can bring our head over our heart. So that sometimes means we need to bring our chin in a little bit, and then our heart over our hips. So it's quite a nice line of our spine. It's amazing how much we just, do all sorts of things. Good core exercise. So nice and aligned. And we're going to start by bringing our awareness to our breath. So we'll feel the air as it rises up the nostrils, passing the back of the throat. You'll feel the rise of the chest, the rise of your stomach, the expansion of your ribs. And back out. So this is the thing, we are just noticing. So we've noticed our body being aligned. We can feel our feet on the floor, our connection to the chair, maybe the support of the chair if you're leaning back. And now we're noticing our breath. So we're not going to hold on to our breath at all. We're not going to change the pattern. There are some very useful breathing techniques where we do that. But for this purpose, we're just going to notice, how is your breath today? So the silken breath, as they call it, rising up the nostrils, expanding the chest, expanding your stomach, and then releasing back out into the world. You may find your breath slightly warmer, and you'll start to find a rhythm. Where does your breath want to go? Is it mainly in your chest? Does it feel comfortable to go deeper? Are you finding it's quite a full breath? Maybe it's a shorter breath. None of that matters in any way. You're just starting to notice. Our bodies love to be noticed. Our breath loves to be noticed. So we're starting to get a nice rhythm going of expansion and release. ebb and flow, in and out. You can stay with your breath, and I'm going to play the bowl. You'll hear the sound, and just being aware that this sound is really harmonious. It's really beautiful patterns are being made. So as you're breathing in and out, just realizing that the sound is helping your thoughts, your energy field, just becoming a bit more harmonious, a bit more coherent. Your left and right sides of your brain joining, becoming a bit more rhythmical. And with that, things are just going to calm down, soothing your nervous system. And we'll just do that for a couple of minutes. Bringing your awareness to your breath, your body, just really feeling those connection points on the ground, chair, just feeling yourself supported, and just imagining all around you your energy field. So this idea, a bit like the Ready Breck advert, for those who remember, you've got your body, but then around you it's an extension of your electromagnetic field. And what we're doing by our breath work, with the sound, we're just strengthening our own energy field. And by doing so, just giving us that little bit of space to respond rather than react. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes and welcoming yourself back. So, what I'm hoping for next term is a longer time. We'll have an hour, and then that means we can do a little bit of our nerdy work to begin with. And then, so it's got a flash up from Zoom. Okay. We'll do a little bit of our nerdy work to begin with, and then we'll enjoy 20 minutes of sound. Got the gong behind me, and just really give ourselves that space. And the more we can practice these things throughout the week, and hopefully by the end of 6 weeks we'll have 3 or 4 things. I'll show you quite a few things and you're not going to resonate with all of them, but you'll have a few things that you can do yourself, a few things that you can do at home with the kids. Don't know, maybe by the end of 6 weeks we'll all be floating away on a wonderful cloud of loveliness. But yeah, if you have any questions or any, well, do you have any questions right now while we're here on the call?
Is this going to be one-off, or is it going to be weekly or bi-weekly? Or
I think we're going to do it weekly for 6 weeks to begin with. I think that will give us sort of continuity. And so if I was to do a sound session with somebody, I would always say at least 3 sessions, because you know what it's like. You go on these workshops or you do something and you're like, yeah, I love it, I feel fantastic, I'm gonna do this. And then within 5 days it's all gone, and you know, you're back to where we were. So it's kind of repetition, building, you know, the new way of thinking, and just practicing really. And then when we can maybe feed back to each other, so as the next week, how was that week for you, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, you know, is there anything we can do? And also, you know, we are a community here in Dysart, so is there anything that we can do to support each other? Oh yeah, I tried this, it was brilliant, it worked a treat. Or I tried this and it went so badly wrong. You know, I think this is the thing about us communicating, because actually we are, you know, our own best advocates. We're our best advocates for our children. And you know, as much as I can come in with wonderful ideas, it may be actually, if I have all the parents saying, yeah, that really didn't work, Joanna, then I'm going to really clearly not use that again, probably, you know, we're in this context. Because I think that's, if we can keep the communication going, that's how we're going to learn together. If you've got any other questions, please email me. Anything that you'd really like to learn about or to see, or anything really. Very much up for making this a collaborative effort.
Do you know what day or time you're thinking about? Will it be the same every week?
I think we're going to try and do it twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Maybe at different times. I think I'm going to record it, because this is the other thing I've realised when I try and do set times. If you miss the set time, then it's like, oh, that's gone for another week. And actually, I think I'd love us to come together as a school community, but you know, if you can't make that time, then let's not miss out. Let's try and, you know, keep things going. So timing, probably, you know, my thinking was sort of, you know, 10:30 to 11:30, or 10 to 11, something like that. And if you do get a chance to read this, have it. Yeah, it's really, she's managed to condense. The actual theory is actually quite dense. Deb Dana did a really good job, and I think Holly's done a really good job as well of you know, making it very readable and accessible. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will hopefully see you after half term.